After 4 months of being fired, you think by now that maybe something will happen. Maybe a job will pop up or something to come to help you get back out there. But sometimes it doesn't happen that quick. Sometimes it takes a little longer. Sometimes it may not happen for a year or two. So you have to figure out what you're going to do. It can be draining. It can be a little bit overwhelming. But it's just the reality and the truth of what you're dealing with at the moment. Everybody, Milton Man on a mission. Thanks so much for joining me here today. I want to have a conversation about. It's been 4 months since I was fired, and I'm just going to tell you the blunt truth of how things have been going, so that you can tell the truth as well. So we all can address how you feel after you've been fired. So again, Milton Man on a mission. If you take a moment, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. We want to keep this community going so that we can be open and honest about some of the things that we're really experiencing out here in this great wide world of living. So I wanted to come talk today about, I just want to give you guys an update. It's been 4 months since I got fired. And again, you've heard the video and you know the story. But I just want to tell you the truth of what you really deal with, well, what I've dealt with since then. It'll be different for each one of us. And if you want to share some of your comments of what you've been dealing with, open and honestly in the comments, that'd be great. It'll keep the conversation going. But I want to tell you my harsh reality. So getting fired, again, it was an emotional moment, something that wasn't expected. So you have to deal with that. You have to deal with that emotion. And just be honest with yourself that it happened, it's done, there's really nothing you can do about it. So it's just part of the reality of that you're in the moment, so you deal with that. So once you get fired, most of us have to figure out what we're going to do. And the thing that most of us do is we get ready to go back into the workplace. We start going and working on that resume, reaching out to contacts, trying to make all the connections we can. We go to seminars, workshops, whatever we can to enhance that resume, to make us look better, to make us someone that someone would want to hire, to put in their organization because of our skills, our character, our qualities that we bring to the table. But let me be real with you. Job hunting today is not fair. It's not easy. It just doesn't feel good. It can be a little bit overwhelming. It can be downright brutal. It can almost feel like you're being discriminated against because of your age or something like that. Ageism is real, people. I'll tell you that. It is real. So the blunt truth is that job hunting is just hard. It's hard. It's not fair. Companies are picking and choosing what they want, who they want. If you're older, your chances of getting hired are lower because you pretty much exceeded the age limit that they want. So you have to look at that and be honest with it. Job hunting is hard. I mean, sitting down, writing that new resume, making sure that you have specific keywords on that resume, making sure that it falls in the you almost like you're tailoring a resume to every company you apply for. You want to make sure that your resume says something about that company's work, and that's daunting. That's overwhelming that you have to do that to get a job. And I mean, you guys have probably done it. So if you have, just say you've done it in the comments below. I've done it. I've changed my resume to cater to a specific job because you needed a job. And I found myself in the last 4 months kind of doing that. Didn't like to do that, but you want to make sure those keywords match up to the jobs that you're applying for. And that can be a little overwhelming. That can be hard to swallow, hard to do because you feel like you shouldn't have to do that. So this job hunt, I mean, it's cruel. It's brutal. It is brutal. It is brutal. You want to get back out there. For some of you who want to get back out there, it's hard trying to make sure that you have the right inroads, the right words, everything that you need in order to get into a job. For those who are not looking to go back into the workplace, it's still a challenge because now you have to do everything. You have to financially, how you're going to start a business, what product you're going to sell, how you're going to sell it, how you're going to transport it, how you're going to get it to a storefront, or is it going to be strictly online? All of that is part of the process. And that's what we've been doing. We've been working on doing our own business because I'm really, like I said, I'm really not looking to get back into the workplace. At 56, I want to go ahead and start doing something that I've always wanted to do. So one of the things, like I said, the first thing is just realize that this job hunting can be overwhelming. And you have to be honest with yourself about it. It can be overwhelming to the point where it'll just break you down. And you're like, man, I'm tired of this. And you almost feel like you want to throw in the towel, but you don't. But you feel like it. So the second thing is the emotional toll and physical toll that looking for a job puts on you. It can be very emotional, and it can cause some physical problems. You find out that you get upset after every time you get that email back saying, thank you so much for applying for your job, but at this time we're going to go in a new direction. But if we find anything that matches your resume, we'll be sure to reach back out to you. They're not going to reach back out to you. And after you get 5 or 6 of those, it takes an emotional toll on you. You're like, is it me? Is it something I'm not capable of doing? You really don't know. But in reality, it's not. Maybe that company just has to post jobs to say that they're hiring when they're really not, just to fill a quota or something. You don't know. But you can take it to heart. Like, man, every time I apply for a job, everybody tells me no. I get no so much, I'm just emotionally drained. And once you become emotionally drained, it affects your physical body. You find out that you no longer do a lot of things. You become like they call it couch potato. You just sit around waiting for something to happen. It's not going to happen just like that out of the whim of the blue. You got to do something to make things happen. Things you used to do, maybe like going out, watering the flowers, cutting the grass, or going for a walk, playing racquetball, playing pickleball, tennis, or whatever. You don't do it anymore. You just don't have the energy. You just don't see the importance of it. And when you were working, you loved those things. But now that you don't have a job, it's almost like you just said, those things are not worthy of my time. Why not? Why are they not worthy of your time just because you don't have a job? You have to understand that you can't stop living because these things are happening. And I did the same thing. There are a lot of things that I like to do, I stopped doing because of the emotional strain that rewriting these resumes or applying for these jobs, networking, going to workshops, seminars, it became emotionally, it took an emotional toll on me. I went to a class last week, 2-hour class, and at the end of the class, I almost wanted to shed tears like, man, I'm 56 years old. Why am I sitting in a class talking about jobs and things like that? But I needed the class because it's going to help me start my business. But it's just, think about it. It can be so emotionally draining trying to get back out there into the workplace. You've exhausted all your contacts. You've written every resume as perfect as you can write it. You're reading every email asking for a job, sharing your career experiences and things that you've thrived in, just to get an email saying that we're going in another direction at this time and we may get back with you later. They're not going to get back with you. And that's something you have to deal with. But you have to understand that it's just one rejection. It's not the end of the world. You still have to keep going. You still have to keep putting yourself out there if that's what you want to do to get back into the workplace. So that emotional toll, again, it hit me for in month 2. I'll say it took a toll on me because I found myself sitting down more, not being active, probably gained 5 or 6 pounds because I wasn't moving or being out and about. So let's talk about this corporate America, this workplace real quick. We know that the 21st century workplace is changing. We're seeing more AI. We're seeing more technology. We're seeing more people laid off. We're seeing older people being pushed out. They won't say it. Ageism is real. So you're finding yourself not being hireable. Is that a good word? Hireable? Being able to be hired. And it's no fault of your own. It's the system. The system has changed. It used to be where it didn't matter how old you was. You could apply for a job, and if you fit the skills and qualifications, you get hired. But now it's like it's changed. It's set in a certain way where we don't want this, we don't want this, we don't want this. And sometimes you fall into this, into that group where it's like, we don't want that. And it's like, I got to eat too. I got to feed my family too. So how is that fair? And again, that's the part that can be emotionally overwhelming because you're qualified. You check off all the boxes. But then they come to one little thing. It's like, no. Or we're downsizing. We can't hire anyone because AI is coming in. It's going to replace all of our people. The workplace is jacked up. It's not fair. It's just not a place where you really want to be because you're not going to be treated right. They're going to underpay you. They're going to overwork you, underpay you, and then look at you crazy when you call in sick or something if something's wrong with you. But the work system is not fair. This is my vent on the work system. I worked in the work system for 30 plus years, and I've seen it in and out. You can work hard as you want to. At the end of the day, they don't care. You're just there to do a job. And if you go in with that mindset, you'll be fine. But just in these 4 months, I found myself having to refocus my thoughts to understand that it's not me all the time. Maybe sometimes it is, but not all the time. It's just the system is changed. And it's changed to where they don't really want you. They don't want you. And they're going to show you in so many ways that they don't want you. And you can't get emotionally drained over that. You can't become overwhelmed over that. Writing resumes, reaching out, networking, oh, that can be so exhausting. And especially if you hadn't found anything in 3 or 4 months, it's really exhausting. So for those who have been searching for 6 months or more, I apologize now that you have to do that, because that can be overwhelming, because you want to keep living. You want to have a happy life, and you only get one. You want to have a happy life. You still want to do some of the things you want to do. So you have to figure out, how do you get through this? How do you continue to go forward? So my suggestion is pace yourself. Pace yourself. If you're applying for 7 jobs a day, apply for 3 a day. If you're in the house more than 6 hours without going out, get outside, man. Go walk around the yard, apartment complex, wherever you live. Get some fresh air. Enjoy this beautiful nature. Don't become overwhelmed. Do some of the things you used to do. You can find plenty of things that you don't need to spend money on to do to enjoy. And we can't miss out on those because we're worried about a job. The job will come. The business will start. You just have to be there when it does. And that means controlling your emotions and keeping your physical self healthy so that when it happens, you're ready. But the reality is, it's hard. It's hard. It can be overwhelming. It can take a toll on you mentally and physically. And it's just the reality of it. I'm just telling you my truth. Like I said, in month 2, it happened to me. I became overwhelmed. It's a little bit much. I found myself being stagnant. I didn't really want to talk to anybody. Appetite was off the charts, good and bad. Gained 5-6 pounds. But now I realize, hey, you got to get back out here on this wheel. And my approach is, I'm trying to get the business started. Some of you guys may be trying to go back into the workplace. Whichever one it is, do it. Don't lose focus, and keep your mind focused on getting things done that you want to do. We're not going to get caught up in this emotional trap, this emotional toll downfall, because that will take over. So just want to stop by real quick to share that little nugget that was on my mind, that you can do this. You have everything you need to do this. And don't get caught up in the workforce, because it's not fair. It's not going to treat you right. It's not fair. They don't do hiring practices correctly. But you still have to go on. If that's something you want to do to get back in the workplace, do the things you have to do. Fix that resume. Make that contact. Go to that workshop, that seminar. Do what you got to do. If that's what you want to do, to go back into the workplace. If you want to start your own business, start researching, start studying, start writing things down, start saving more money from the money you have, because you're not making any that savable now. You maybe have your side hustles going on to keep your household going, but it may not allow you to put away some money. But just start thinking about it. What do I need to do this? And just start writing those things down. So when those things happen, you're ready to go. Always be prepared. Regardless of what situation you're in, be prepared, stay prepared so that you are ready to go when it's time. What is the saying? You stay ready so you don't have to get ready. So just remember that. So just wanted to share real quick the truth about these last 4 months. They haven't been easy. I'm not going to lie to you. We're eating. We got a place to stay. So that's not an issue there. So we've saved up to take care of that. But the emotional and physical part is something that I'm still dealing with. And you guys may be dealing with the same thing. Please share your comments below so we can keep this conversation going. Again, MiltonCraft, man on a mission. Thanks so much for talking with me today. Talk to you soon.